I'm just a girl, just a girl trying to live her life because I'm going through life for the first time as well.
Between sessions, therapists are people too. We've got ideas, projects, and stories worth sharing. This is where we will do that. Welcome to For Therapy by Therapists. And today we are doing that with Lisa from LDO Counseling. How are you?
Hey, I'm good, thanks. I feel excited for this.
I know. Thank you so much for agreeing.
No, of course. We need
Um,
this platform, so yeah, definitely.
that's what I'm telling myself. That's what I'm telling myself. So obviously we spoke a little bit the other day, and I found Lisa on TikTok. You have to watch her TikToks. You're so charismatic.
Oh, thanks.
And it's literally like it's so nice to see because you just look like a normal person, but obviously your platform is for the fact that you are a therapist.
Yeah.
But you still get to see both sides of you, which I really enjoy.
I think that was definitely the goal with the TikTok. I started it, I guess, when TikTok became big. So I was already in counseling training. I was like, can I post about training? And I didn't.
Mhm.
And then once I qualified, I was like, nah, I need to kind of share both sides of me because I am a counselor, but I'm also just me. So that's where it breathed from and came from. So yeah.
Okay, now what would you say is just me?
Just me is I'm a bit goofy. I'm a bit introverted as well sometimes.
Mhm.
So really outgoing when it comes to friends and stuff. So like you can see me randomly dancing in the grocery store because the music is playing in the background. Like that's the kind of girl I am. I like books. Do I read them? No. So I collect books. That's my hobby.
You
It's
say
just
you collect books, but you don't.
yeah. I like the idea of reading them and I'll
Mhm.
open them, start reading them, and then I just don't read them. So I collect books. I that's my hobby and I aspire to be a reader. And then yeah, I'm just a girl, just a girl trying to live her life because I'm going through life for the first time as well. But I so happen to be a
Ooh,
counselor.
if that isn't a quote, I'm just a girl and I'm going through life for the first time as well.
Yeah. No, definitely. It's reality, isn't it? Because sometimes people think certain jobs, people
Mhm.
are experts in things, and we might have more information about certain things, but generally we're going through it as well. Like I'm learning as you are learning. Maybe I
Mhm.
learned a bit before you, but yeah, I'm just a girl.
Yeah, but I think that's like such a really solid point. Like, even though we're knowledgeable in what we do
Yeah.
and the way that we hold space for others because we're trained to do so, this is our first and also like last time doing the same lap that everyone's doing. Obviously,
Yeah.
hopefully for a longer period of time. But actually, it's so mad. I've never thought about the fact that actually this is my first time here.
Yep. Exactly.
Like this is our first time here.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen those videos though of like, the people who have like kids and like they're like their kids are talking about like previous lives that they've lived? Are you on that side of TikTok?
Yeah. I sometimes come across it. Yeah. I know, and it seems so like they go into depth, and you're like, okay, like I don't have that experience, so this is truly my first time living.
Mhm.
I guess for some people it might be their second time, but it's their first in this like existence in this
Mhm.
body. So yeah, we're just going through it.
Yeah, this is Lisa's first time in Lisa's shell. Which girl, you look good.
Thank you. I try. I try. I sometimes have my confidence issues sometimes, but you
Mhm.
know what? I'm trying to embrace it. Freshly in my 30s, trying to make most of it, like just living life, be more confident and like just, be happy with where I'm at.
Mhm.
Things.
And you dyed your hair, which I saw, and I think that color looks so good on you.
Yeah. Like I've been thinking about it for so long
Mhm.
and it was just you just have to because if you want to do something and it's not
Mhm.
going to harm you, why not just do it, right? If I don't like it, I can chop my hair off. I won't do that. Or I can dye it back. But I love it. So this is now my color, I think. So yeah.
Emphasis on though, she said specifically if it's not going to harm you.
Yep, exactly.
Remember that part, okay?
Gonna harm
Not
me,
a
why
sweeping
not?
statement. Okay. Now I want to poke around in your brain, but also know more about you as a therapist. What modality of therapy do you do, and what do you think is your favorite thing about it?
So I would say I'm person-centered, true
Mhm,
and true to the core, just person-centered therapy. So that kind of means it's more about the relation, it's more about the client being the expert about their lives in a
mhm,
way. So I'm going on the journey with them,
mhm,
but because I have a different perspective, I can join them on that journey and kind of guide them through the different perspectives, and help them in that growth that they want to achieve. So it's more about the relationship that we build together. It's more about facilitating a
mhm,
safe space where someone can feel like they can grow without judgment, full of empathy, and just unconditional positive regard, like that sense of I'm not gonna judge you. I'm here with you on this journey, whatever you're talking about experiencing. Yeah, so it's really relational. And I think that's the basis of all counseling and all relationship, all therapy. And some people lack that in life.
mhm,
So their experience in counseling being a positive relationship can then benefit them in changing. So I think that's a really good thing about person-centered counseling, where it is that focus on you as a person, you as a
mhm,
whole, and that sense of we don't need all the additional things to necessarily change. Because
mhm.
sometimes all you need to do is be listened to, be understood, and
Yeah.
almost that's the basic need sometimes, and sometimes people lack that. So yeah, I think that's the best thing about the counsel, like the being person centered. And I think I embody that actually just me as a person. I think I am like person centered to the core. So yeah.
See, whereas I'm like, I don't think I am person-centered to the core because I think I'm so congruent that I
Mhm.
slightly shimmy out of it, but I think I am trained in person-centered therapy, and that's my fundamental modality as
Yeah.
well. But I always say to clients, I'm like, "You're driving. I'm in the passenger seat, okay? I've got the snacks, okay? I've got the music.
Yep.
Wherever you go, I go,
Yep.
including off a cliff.
Yep.
Will I tell you not to do it? I would tell you that the cliff is coming up and we're
Yeah.
we're going towards the edge. But if you want to go over it, then we're gonna have to just go over it together."
Wow. And then see how we can climb out of it. Yeah.
Precisely. We also have the parachute.
Yeah, definitely. We have the tools to get out of it. But if you need to cliff dive, then you'll cliff dive and I'll be able to be by your side while you do that. And hopefully you don't do any damage. We want to avoid damage. But almost that sense of like, I go where you go. Sometimes I might have to push the brake because we're going too fast.
Mhm,
Sometimes I might tell you to accelerate a bit because we're going too slow. But
mhm.
ultimately, you're the decider of where we go with things. So yeah.
No, but I think, do you know what? And that's such a like a really fundamental point in the job that we do and even the modality that we do. It's like even though I can kind of see warning signs to some
Mhm.
extent, I can't stop you from doing anything.
Yeah.
I might be able to pump the brakes or tell you to slow down, but and joke because I don't know if you've seen, but you know the videos where people are like, "Oh," and even I've thought about it, right? Like, why don't therapists just give us the answer? And actually, I don't think we can. I think we have to go where you go so
Yeah.
that you know how you got here.
Mhm.
And I can track it, but you have to be you have like what do I mean? The client has to do the thing.
Yeah.
Whether or not we think it's the right thing, I don't think we're supposed to have, an opinion on that. We're humans, so we do, because we do, but
Yeah.
we really do have to just follow them where they go and have to kind of facilitate, like you say, a space whereby actually they feel like they can do that. They can go to the nth degree and knowing that actually if you come back, when you come back, we're still here.
Yeah. And there's no judgment, almost that
Mm,
sense of, okay, maybe you feel like you've made a bad decision. I won't judge you for that. Like I'll still be here. I might bring attention to the fact that that's the decision you made, and then you make this decision whether it was good or bad for you.
mm,
But I won't judge you either way because that's your process. That's what you're going through,
mhm,
and unless it's doing you harm, I'm not gonna necessarily intervene. Yeah. Yeah, I would say that, like, unless it's doing you harm. If there's harm, I'm gonna stop you. I'm gonna make you aware of like, let's not. But if there's no harm, then kind of almost like you do you in a way, and I will
yeah.
be here listening if you need a listening ear. with no judgment and full understanding of your process and what you're going through.
No, literally, literally. Now, training to be a therapist, I will say should always come with a warning label
Yeah.
because I wasn't ready for not do you know what? Sitting with clients wasn't the hard thing.
Yeah.
Sitting with myself as I learned
More about
what I
yourself.
more about myself in order to go through this process with clients,
Mm.
that's what really stumped me. Now, what would you say was the hardest thing about training?
Vulnerability in a way, because I guess growing up, vulnerability, as in like emotional vulnerability, there wasn't always a space for it. So
Mhm.
with training, you had to get therapy yourself. So I was sat there with my feeling like, oh, what am I going to talk about? I don't have anything to talk about. And almost every session, I was sat there crying because I was like, why am I feeling like this about X, Y, Z? Or why is this my experience? So almost that sense, like what you said, that's sitting with myself and I actually listening to what I'm going through, knowing myself better, understanding myself better, like
Mhm.
what are my vices? Like, what am I going through? Because sometimes you just turn a blind eye to it, right? Because
Yep.
like, oh, it's not impacting me. Yes, it was. It still is. So
Yep.
it's that sense of just sitting with myself, holding up a mirror to like, oh, this is who I actually am.
Yep. No, and I think that's really fundamental, right? Because the mirror is you can look back at yourself and not like what you see,
Yeah.
or the training can really give you a different perspective because obviously we do things from like a POV
Yeah.
and that's how we function through life. But hearing yourself reiterate the experiences that you've had. And I think there's something about hearing it in your own voice. Because I say to clients, the voice in your head sounds nothing like you. And I
Mm.
think a real fundamental reason why therapy works is because you're hearing the voice that you recognize talk about your experiences. And with that comes such a hit of emotions,
Yeah.
but also, I think it changes the perspective of how you look at your life. Like first you were sat here and then you kind of move around it. And with every movement and shift
Yeah.
an angle that you look at your experience through, you're just like, oh, that was the impact?
Mm.
Why didn't they tell us that this was going to happen?
Right. It's almost like everything is all of a sudden clear. Like you're in the middle of a thunderstorm, of like a tornado, whatever you want to call it. And because you're in the middle of it, you
Mm.
don't recognize the chaos because you're like the middle is always kind of like calm in a way, isn't it?
Mhm, mhm, mhm,
Actually, no, there's destruction all around you. And because you step out of the thunderstorm and like it's kind of fading away now because you're recognizing there's a storm,
mhm,
everything becomes clear. You're like, oh, actually, it is bad, like, all the destruction that's left,
mhm.
and that's kind of the inner turmoil in a way, isn't it? All of that
Yeah.
inner turmoil, that's what's impacting me. That's, "Oh, the house is broken. Oh, families are gone. Oh," like, whatever it is, like, it will all become clear because of, like, a sense of clarity that all of a sudden came forward.
And isn't it so organic? Like,
Yeah.
even when you try and pump the brakes on your own process,
Mm.
again, when we're training and we're learning about ourselves and we're being introspective, I was so surprised at one, how easily, I guess, things came out of me, but also me feeling like some level of resistance about how easily things were flowing out of me. I was like, chill out.
I know. See, with me, it was kind of the opposite.
Mhm,
I shared things that I felt like, it's like I don't really care about sharing that. There were
mhm,
stuff that I was going through while like in my course that I
mm,
didn't speak to anyone about until
mhm,
like the very last session, like the
mhm.
very last personal development group. I was sat there, I was like, you know what? I don't have anything to lose. It's the last one. I'll share this really big thing that happened while I
Wow.
was,
Mhm,
and I was like, why did I wait so long? So like I also recognize that I don't share necessarily everything. So like even with clients, isn't it? Like they'll be vulnerable, but only to an extent because they're like, I can give you this, but the deep stuff I'll kind of like leave within. And we as counselors can sense that, but because we don't necessarily know what it is, we kind of
mhm.
leave it. So like I recognize that I did that as well, like going through my training, like especially with my like peer group and stuff.
Yep.
I wouldn't share everything. My counselor. she knew everything. I was like, "I'm
Mm.
paying you for it, so I'm sharing everything." But, like, within the actual course, I wasn't sharing, I think, 100% of myself. It's like, I just need to share what I need to get through this. Like, I'm aware of it, but do you need to be aware of it? And I do recognize that I, do that in life as well sometimes, where I just give people a part of me, because being vulnerable is scary. I recognize that, so I appreciate that people that come to me
Mhm.
scared as well. But yeah, it is a scary thing to be completely vulnerable and open to people, or even if you do know them well.
But I also like what you said, right? It's like, and I think this is indicative also of a client journey and why our training is so important.
Yeah.
It's when, like you said, at the very end,
The doorknob confession.
yeah, then you're like, bombshell, later, we'll never see you again. Or in terms of clients, I might not see you for another week or two
Yeah.
or three, but even we have the ability to be like, and trip feed and drip feed and drip
Yeah.
feed and verbal diarrhea, run.
Yeah. I know. Because you don't really want to face it. It's like, I want to tell you, but I don't want to actually go into detail about what it is. Like, so now you know, but we don't have to really deal with it because we don't have time. We ran out of time. And clients do that often with the doorknob confession. Not often,
Mhm.
but it does happen where, like, the very big thing all of a sudden is shared at the end, and we're sat there like, "Okay, but I don't have time to explore this. Like, I want to explore this, but I
Mhm.
can't." And maybe next time when I see you, I mention it and you're like, "No, I don't wanna talk about it. I can't force you to talk about it, but we both know that you share this." So yeah, it's universal, even with counselors.
But like, you know, there's something also about kind of getting it out there, like
Yeah,
not necessarily having the emotional bandwidth to delve in, because I think also it can feel like, well, if I say it, then I have to talk about it.
yeah,
But actually, we can appreciate just saying something, and it will just be like an awareness that sits in the space, not even necessarily an elephant in the room, though, but kind of like a plant in the
yeah,
back. But at some point, as you go through the process, as you go through the journey, um, that thing that we kind of put as like a little bulletin on the board,
yeah.
it comes up. It like I
Always
literally just said
does.
this with my friend that I just recorded with. We're like,
Yeah.
therapy has this wonderful ability to go full circle.
Mhm.
How do
Everything
we
is
do that?
connected. Like, honestly, everything is connected. Someone will talk about their dog went for a poo outside, it didn't have a bag to pick it up, and then all of a sudden it's, "Oh, but work was stressful because now I was late." But they don't think it's connected, but it is connected, and because they were late, they were grumpy at work.
Mhm,
Coffee, and, "Oh, this person said something to me at work and I snapped at them." And it's
mhm,
like, they all think it's separate incidents, but, like, they'll talk about it, and in a roundabout way, it comes back to, like, "Oh, it's because I took my dog for a walk and I didn't have any poop bags for them." And I'm like, "See, like, it's all connected." And, like, of course,
mhm.
this, I'm, like, trivializing by talking about whatever person with a dog. It's not real, but, like, in certain aspects, there's different clients with different things going on in their lives, and everything, it sounds cliche, but everything is connected in a way. You won't think it, and it could be just 1%, it could be 0.1% of
Yeah.
it, but it, certain things do impact other things in life,
Mhm,
even though you don't think it. Majority of the time, something that happened 10 years ago will be slightly connected to something today, but I'm not gonna necessarily tell you that. I'm gonna
mhm.
see if you can get to that. And often it does happen where, like, "Oh, like, I felt this way because 10 years ago this person said this thing to me, and it stuck."
No, literally,
Yeah,
literally. And it's like sometimes as humans, we have like one fundamental thread that
mhm,
runs through our lives, and it manifests itself in so many different ways. And I think that's what kind of sometimes makes it hard to see,
yeah,
like, makes it hard to see that things are connected, because there's a theme, like an underlying theme that everything or a lot of things can go back to.
yeah,
we have to also shovel our way through, like, it's like being with the client and listening to what they're saying, but also hearing what's underneath.
Yeah.
And also sometimes it takes like a few sessions to realize, actually, even though we've spoken about 4 or 5 separate
Yeah.
incidents,
Incidents.
yeah,
Yeah.
um, that's when we're like, "This sounds familiar," and not what you're saying because we've not had this particular conversation before,
Yeah.
but I can hear a thing that sounds like a thread that runs through your life.
Yeah, like a certain emotion and certain feeling, a certain
Mhm.
insight, a certain impact. Just yeah, this is just in a way just connected in a way. And like clients will come to session for one thing, and it opens up a whole different thing that they were like, "Oh, I didn't think this was an issue," or I didn't think I was going to talk about this." And it's like it's because it was there. You didn't realize, but because it's kind of the impact was there, the intention, the feeling, the
Mhm.
whatever it was for that person was already there, and it's linked to something else that they talked about, and then it just sparks something that then brings up another thing.
Don't you think how phenomenal it is for our memories? Like, you, because I've had clients and I've had sessions where I'm like, "How did we get here?"
Yeah.
And of course I can backtrack it, like, I can listen well enough to be able to really jump through the loop, but you're really like, sometimes therapy is so, what's the word? Is it organic? I wanna say sometimes a little bit chaotic,
Yeah.
um,
Like
sometimes just a
fluid.
bit like a sh shit show, not even in a negative way, but like a tornado.
Yeah. It just hits where it hits, isn't it?
It hits where it hits. No,
Yeah.
literally. Now, what would you say, I'm gonna tell you, yeah, I wanna poke around about you as a
Yeah.
personal. I wanna poke around you as a person. What would you say the difference is between your personal and your professional self? I know that earlier you were saying that actually person-centered really aligns with how you are, but
Yeah.
yeah, is there any fundamental difference, or do you feel like actually similar to the thread that there's a level of consistency?
Yeah. I think I'm more maybe outspoken in a way,
Mhm.
especially around people I'm more comfortable with.
Yep.
That's in sort of if it's politics, if it's talking about sexuality, if it's talking about life, just going deep. Like I'll go super deep about anything. I'll be able to talk about extensionism, like what is beyond life, conspiracy.
Mhm.
Don't necessarily believe in conspiracies, but that sense if I can talk about really deep stuff and some ways can be really passionate about those conversations where we talk about like okay what is the meaning of life or oh this politics like what is that or the impact on the world of this like I could talk about it for like forever really or like just go really deep and passionately. I definitely don't do that in sessions. Like
Mhm.
my clients will see a part of me where I might not necessarily poke them, but I will be a bit more direct, which person cent isn't necessarily always direct, but because I bring a part of me in it so that people or my clients feel more connected with me, I will be a bit more direct, like, "Girl, do you hear what you're saying?" kind of thing. But I won't go into any politics. I'll keep my politics to myself because I know where where to draw the line,
Mhm.
but also I won't be as passionate about certain things because it's not about me, it's about you.
Mhm.
So whatever really me isn't involved in that. So that's where there's a difference. Like my personality is the same, but
Mhm.
fundamentally what we talk about is of course different because I don't bring myself into the sessions. That's about you. Um, so I guess that's where the main difference is where I'm very more outspoken in person,
Mhm.
to the right person, to the right people, compared to in sessions. Although there's still a similarity because I am definitely bringing myself to the session, and I think the clients also know where I stand on certain things just because of who
Mhm.
I am as a person.
Yeah.
I, they wouldn't be able to say that, oh, Lisa said this about XYZ to me because I'm not gonna bring myself into it. It's not about me.
Okay, so what you're saying is the openness that you generally have is something that you can do in your personal life, but also in your professional life. And I think obviously being open as a therapist. is important because even if we're not sharing things about ourselves, having an open demeanor, I think, can signal to clients that they can bring anything in.
Yeah.
And the passion that you hold obviously translates in, again, client work, client relationships. I do want to pull slightly on when you were like, girl, do you hear what you said?
Yeah.
One thing I know for a fact in therapy, sometimes I'm like, now say it again and listen to
Yeah.
you when you say it. What
Yeah.
do you hear?
Yeah. No, exactly. Sometimes they say it, but they can't hear it. So
Mhm,
I just have to reface it. Like, I can hear you say this. And I'm
mhm.
like, yeah, I can hear it when you say it. I'm like, I didn't say it. You said it. But sometimes
Like,
you
you
just need,
literally just said it.
yeah, like it came from your mouth. I'm not picking it. I'm not saying it. You're saying it. But sometimes you just, yeah, just like, so that's the same. But the difference is just like, I'm not gonna, no opinions really.
Mhm.
Maybe slight opinions because I'll be like, you deserve better. I guess that's a slight maybe opinion in a way, but other than that, anything really about the world or about me personally, anything like that, people won't know. Um, and thinking about it now, I think they're slightly the same because in counseling, I don't really share much, and I think sometimes in real life, I don't really do that either. Like,
Mhm.
oh, people that really need to know, no, but majority of the time, people don't really know a lot of information about me because, yeah. Just
I love
laugh.
it because you're like, no, thank you.
No, no, thank you. I'll keep that to myself, but the right people know enough about me and where I stand and how my personality and just my views on things. So yeah.
To be fair though, when you say the right people know, I think that's actually quite important because I think I'm quite similar. I would say that I don't really talk a lot, and unless people know me very well, you don't know much about me. And if you ask me, I will tell you, but I don't volunteer information
Mhm.
necessarily. But I think when you train to be a therapist and you've also been so introspective and you know so much about yourself, we also
Yeah.
have the ability to discern who we can be ourselves around, because I'm a strong believer in it's important to have a safe space, but
Mhm.
not all spaces are safe.
Right. Yeah.
And I think obviously we're probably ideally
A safe
pretty,
space. Yeah.
yeah, like, but also pretty decent at knowing that. So, because I
Yeah.
think when we're supposed to be professional, because the space that we provide is for our clients,
Yeah.
and it's, I wouldn't say that being a therapist is a persona or necessarily even a mask, but I know that my job is to allow you to come into the space and bring
Mhm.
all versions of you, bring the whole Calvary, plop them all on the couch, and you shouldn't feel like you're in competition
Yeah.
with any of my stuff, or like one of your people can't come in because another version of me is in the room, right? I think
Yeah.
there is also that, but I think, like you said, but naturally our personality shines through. Now I find that with like clients I have a really solid relationship with, clients who've been my clients for years, there is some level of like, if you weren't my client, we would get along like a house on fire. Do you find that?
Yeah. Yeah. I think the people that find me are people that I guess like because majority of my clients have found me on TikTok. They like my personality, and because they like my personality, it seems like they have similar personalities in a way.
Mhm,
So yeah, like I have a laugh in my session. Like if they say something and it's funny, I'll laugh. I'm not gonna be stone faced sat there. If I'm like can't find the word, I'll tell them like, oh, I can't find the word, and they understand. They're like, oh, Lisa, like she doesn't know what like I sometimes I don't know the word because I'm bilingual. Like, give me a bit of like thingy, but like they understand that. So like my goofy self sometimes
mhm,
that come across, or like my facial expression, or like they yeah, like you said, it just clicks. Like there's no judgment there on their side as well with me
mhm,
because sometimes I can be awkward, but they allow me. So yeah, it just clicks. Like I think the people like I said with the person centered stuff, isn't it? That's the relational is the relationship is important, and
mhm.
I feel like that's the basis of any counseling, whatever
Yeah.
counseling, whether that's CBT, DBT, ACT, whatever it is that you do, um,
All the teas.
all the T's, whatever you do, the relationship is important. If you don't click with someone, the sessions will be shit. Oop, excuse my French. They
No,
will be really bad.
but I agree. I'm like,
Um,
therapy, who you take on therapy with matters. And if
yeah.
you, just like you wouldn't speak to a friend or a family member that you feel like cannot hold that space for you,
Mhm.
or there is anything, and I say this to clients, I'm like, it might feel large, it might feel small, it might feel pedantic. If something isn't niggling or sitting with you right,
Yeah.
choose a different therapist. And
No,
it's not because I'm not good at my job. I might just not be the right therapist for
for you.
you. And I think we can also feel that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I if I have a client that I feel like there's not a gel, can struggle
Mm.
to do my job because I can feel
The
that there is
distance.
some level of barrier or resistance in the room.
Yeah. No, definitely. And if they don't feel comfortable to bring it to you,
Mm.
then you're not a safe space for them. So if you're not a safe space for them, then they shouldn't be in counseling with you because they should be able to tell you, oh, this isn't sitting right with me, or
Mhm.
oh, I'd rather have the counseling like this. Are you able to provide that? If they can't say any of that, if they can't give you feedback, if they don't feel comfortable giving you feedback, then it's not the right. Like the relationship should be at the basis. So if you're not clicking with the counselor, they're not the counselor for you. And honestly, they shouldn't be getting offended because they know that. Like as a counselor shouldn't be offended by a
Mhm.
client saying that. So, yeah. So hopefully people find the right people for them. And I've had that where people contact me and then don't reach out to me because they have other options. I'm like, okay, find the best one for you. If I'm not it, then I'm not it. I'm not gonna be offended by it because I just want the best for you. Although I don't know you, I want the best for you because you're
Mhm.
seeking counseling. So it needs to be right for you. I'd be happy if it's me, but if it's not, then
Yeah. Yeah. It's fine if it's not me. I'm not gonna cry, like, intensely, just in, like, really small, just dreadful
a small
amount.
little, like tear rolling, but I'll be fine.
Okay. No, to be fair, quickly though, you said that you are bilingual. Tell me about your background. How many languages do you speak?
So I
Tell us
was
about you.
so I was born in the Netherlands. So I'm
Mhm.
like nationality, I'm Dutch. My
Mhm.
parents are Ghanaian.
Mhm.
So I ethnicity wise, I'm Ghanaian, and then of course now I'm living in England. So English is like I would say like my main not my main language, but like I can speak English fluently because of course the language in Ghana is English. And then I speak Dutch fluently because I grew up there. And then I understand. Sadly, I can't speak it well, but I understand like two of the Ghanaian languages, so Ga and Tree. Like I try to speak it, it goes bad, so I just answer back in Dutch or English. Um,
Mhm.
and then I did a bit of Italian. I'm still trying to like learn it better, but yeah. So those are the kind of the languages I like speak, semi-speak, understand. And then of course, like here and there, maybe Spanish. I watch my Spanish shows, a bit of
Mhm.
German because I had it for a year. It's so difficult. Like I do speak Dutch, as in like the language in the Netherlands, but German, nah, I that's too too tough for me. But like, yeah, so there's a few languages there that I can understand and speak, but because of Dutch being my first language, often when it comes to certain words, I
Mhm.
think about it in Dutch. So I'm sat there, I'm like, what is it in English? Although I can speak English like
Yeah.
it's my first language as well. Sometimes the words just like miss, like they just don't connect, and I can't find them. I have to describe them sometimes to myself to be like, oh, that's what I'm talking about, and then I find the word, and vice versa as well. Some words in Dutch I don't quite remember anymore, so I say it in English because I'm like, what is it again in Dutch? Because I don't really speak that as often anymore. But yeah,
Oh, she's an international bilingual babe. So listen, Dutch clients are coming your way. That's where we're gonna
oh
put it into
yeah.
the universe.
Come
Okay.
my way. I can speak to you as
Literally.
well. Maybe a
A
bit
couple of
broken.
Germans just to make that a little bit more fluent.
Yeah. I need practice, so come to me.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure that you're gonna smash it out the park regardless. No, I think that's really interesting because I didn't know that, and
Oh.
I've stalked you in a
Yeah.
respectful manner. I've stalked you, and I didn't know that you were, obviously you have a slight accent,
Yeah.
but do you know what's so funny though? I'm like, I say you have a slight accent. I'm Jamaican, born and bred, but
Yeah.
the way I speak, you would never know. Can I
I know.
switch? Yeah, but
Yeah.
my English.
perfection, isn't it?
Li the
Yeah.
Southern baby. No, anyway. Okay. Now, what stigma about therapy, specifically therapists, would
Yes.
you like to change if you could change one?
That we like, there's a few that we don't care, that it's all for the money. It's not all for the money, but it's my job.
Say that.
Yeah, like I've seen the narrative online that people are like, "Oh, my therapist doesn't care about me because it's all about the money for them." And I'm
You should
like,
probably get a new therapist if that's what if you as a
yeah,
person wholeheartedly think and feel like your therapist doesn't care about you
yeah,
and it's just a financial transaction, maybe find a different therapist. But in the
I know.
same breath, we do need to pay our bills.
I know. Like, we need to get paid. Like, if a lawyer can get paid for their training, why can't I as a counselor get paid for my training?
Doctors get paid,
Uh,
psychiatrists get paid,
yeah,
dentists get paid,
paid all of that.
and everyone else gets paid. Why?
Yeah,
What are we supposed to?
I know. So, like, yeah.
Anyway, sorry,
Or
I interrupted you, but yeah.
no,
So
that's
what we
fine.
getting at?
Exactly that. That sense of like we don't care. I'm like, I do care. Like, I do sometimes sit here wondering about my past clients. Like, oh, where are they at? Like, are they fine? I'm not gonna stalk
Right?
you, although I know your name. I'm not gonna stalk you. I'm not gonna find out.
Yeah.
I do wonder. Like, I do care, but I have to like
Sit
it's
within the professional boundaries that we
yeah,
hold, which also is a part of like one, the separation, because it's like we are quite literally like a vault.
yeah,
Like you step in here, you let everything go, and then you can exit into the world and know that you have a safe space somewhere that isn't accessible to other people. But
yeah,
I can't
exactly.
really.
Yeah.
I don't know why that really. Obviously, therapists are just people, right? And
Mm,
that is fundamentally us at our core. But I
yeah. So that's the thing.
like dumbfounded. I'm like, for real?
Yeah. Or like a thing you just said there, maybe not a stigma, but almost that sense of we can't be human to certain people.
Mm.
Because that sense of, I remember I put a TikTok up there, and I danced a bit, right? Because I like my dancing. Like
Yeah.
I'm like I just enjoy life. But it was a TikTok trend, so I did a TikTok trend. In one of the comments, it was just one, and it's not. It doesn't bother me. I say while I bring it up.
That's why she brings it up.
But it stuck out to me because everyone else was like giving me feedback. We're like, oh, do this. And then there was one comment that just said, oh, but I wouldn't want a counselor that dances on TikTok. And I'm like, I'm human. Like, girl, like leave me alone. Like I'm human. Like what? So I can't post me dancing because I'm a counselor. Like
You know
what
what
is
though? I know that you would have seen it. Have you seen? And I've watched a few videos about
oh the
it.
Kendra one?
No, not
Oh
wait. The woman who's in love with her psychiatrist.
yeah.
No, no.
Okay. Okay.
I was like,
It's a
I
whole
don't even
different
know what
conversation.
that is.
Yeah.
No, but the one where that girl was like, some girl is making it around, was like, oh, she wouldn't choose a therapist that she sees on social media.
Oh, I saw that
And
one, yeah.
yeah, and I was just like, what?
I
Wh-
know. I get
where are we supposed to be?
yeah. Like in this day and age, we need to be online because then we can advertise ourselves in a way, and we have to advertise ourselves because we
Yeah,
have a service that we're providing, right?
literally.
So it's either a website, it's either a bulletin board on Facebook or whatever, like cards. But if I go out on the street, I'm like, oh, do you need counseling? Here's my card. No, everyone's gonna look at me
No,
crazy.
the way I'm gonna
Right?
screenshot the way my nostrils just flared and my eyes just opened, like
Like I can't
therapy.
approach
You need some therapy.
yeah. Like I can't approach people in person, like be like, "Oh, do you need counseling?" I can put like maybe posters up,
Mm,
but honestly, I don't remember the last time I looked at a poster in a store or anywhere else.
thank
So
you.
like that's not the way to do it. I can put up with I have a website and people are seeing it, but I think people are seeing it because of my TikTok, and
Yeah,
because of my
I
social media.
find it by that way. Yeah.
And then I have like I'm on the directories, but that goes silent as well, and people are saying like, "Oh, you have to do this and this," and like it's tough. Like with social media, it
Yeah.
just gets sent to people, right? Like I don't necessarily have to do much for it to be seen by someone because of
Mhm,
the algorithms. So
mm.
like my TikTok, I can post it thinking my 5 friends will see it, 500 people will see it. And
Mm.
then one of those people might need counseling, be like, "Oh, this came across my page at the right time." Okay, great. Right? Now I have a client and I'm helping someone that needed it at the right time. And I was just there because my post went to them. And like you can't do that with your website. You can't do that with a bulletin board. You
Very
can't do
true.
that with your business cards. Sure, word of mouth, but the stigma around mental health and counseling, I don't know a lot of people that actually would talk about like, oh, my counselor. Like my friends barely share my stuff. And a part of me is a bit bitter about it because I'm like, why? Like, just tell people
Yeah.
that I'm a counselor, and if they need it, holler at me. But so you need to do certain things. You have to adapt to times, isn't it? Like you have to make the changes where needed.
Agree, but I'm like, also, like, TikTok has dentists, they have gynecologists, they
Yeah.
have and nobody else gets told to go back into a closet, into a corner, into a
Right.
whatever. Like, I can appreciate that mental health and even though the world is getting better, I can
Mm.
appreciate that it's still kind of hard for people to wrap their minds around
Yeah.
or but it kind of feels like we're some kind of dirty little secret that should be kept in a corner.
Yeah.
But
Or that
I yeah, go ahead.
like, they're afraid that we will talk about them. Like,
Like,
there's ethics.
confidentiality
Yeah.
is fundamentally a really massive thing. One, we can be sued. I don't know about any other country, but I know in the UK,
Yeah.
we can be sued. GDPR laws are
Yeah.
a literal actual thing. And one, you can do things anonymously, right? But fundamentally, like, our job, even if we don't get clients that way, we're still giving information, we're still
Yeah.
providing comfort and solace, and people are still feeling seen by
Yeah.
the things that we create because we know what we know. And
Yeah.
I think TikTok likes to, as we all know, TikTok loves to drop a diagnosis. Do you get what
Yeah.
I mean? So I think
Yeah.
when it's like doctors or when it's gynecologists or when it's
Yeah.
psychiatrists, they're just like, oh, you have this, and this, and it probably means you have this. And that is fine. But what happens after, right? Like, oh, you found out that you have ADHD, you found out that you have bipolar by looking at a TikTok. But like when it comes to managing that,
Mm.
maintaining a life around that, we're who you come to.
Yeah.
It's our job to not even our job. Well, no, it is. It's our job to help people continue to live,
Yeah.
but yet we're supposed to just hide underneath the table until someone tells us to come out.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't agree with it. But also, we're not doing that.
No. And like there's a thing with I guess people wanting information from non-professionals because I scroll on social media, I scroll on TikTok, and the stuff that gets the most views, get the most acknowledged is someone saying, "Oh, my therapist said this," or "Oh, this is what I do for my mental health." But then you go to the page and they're just someone in a way. There's not nothing bad. Maybe they're going through their own lived experiences, which is fine, but they're just someone that's
Yeah.
not qualified. But then a qualified person will say the exact same thing, come across the same people, and there's no traction.
Yeah.
Or people will say like, "Oh, you need to stay in your own hall." Like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" And I'm like, I know what I'm talking about because I'm qualified."
Yeah.
Um, so a bit of frustration comes there as well because I've noticed that in real life as well, where I would say something and it's disregarded, but then someone else who isn't qualified will say something, and I'm like, and then it's listened to, and I'm like, but I just told you that. I just told you to do X, Y, Z. So like, why are you not listening to me? But this person that's not
Mm.
qualified in the same way I am, you're listening to because
Yeah.
they said it.
Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. I really. That should be studied. Like from over here, I think it's just the fact that people still feel uncomfortable with mental health,
Yeah.
but like September is, and I don't know if this episode will be posted in September. I haven't decided, but like September is like suicide
Suicide.
awareness month and all these
Yeah.
things. I'm like, but in order for people to change, get the help that they need, we have to like they have to know where they can go. Do you
Yeah.
get what I mean? And like you said, there's people who've seen him and been like, actually, that's the kind of person that I'd want to be my
Mm.
therapist because there is the portion of social media that makes people feel like they can see different parts of us that they have parts of self that would align with,
Yeah.
and then that's who they bring. But yeah, I just think it's so fundamentally ridiculous to be like, "Oh, I just don't think that therapists should be on social media."
Yeah.
Where should we be? And for the people that have found us and we have helped, where
Yeah.
would they be
Yeah.
if
Do you know
we
what I
didn't
think
exist?
it is?
Mhm.
I think it's to do with ageism within the therapeutic
Oh,
career or
mhm,
role, right? Because if it was an old person on
mm,
TikTok that talked about like, oh, suicide or mental health or anything like that, I think it would be seen as, oh, they're sharing their wisdom. But because we're young, it's like, oh, you
mhm.
know what you're talking about because you're
Yep,
just in this career. But I could be in this same as long as this other person, or even longer, because
mhm,
for them it might be a second career, whereas for me it's my first and hopefully only career.
yeah,
There's a difference there that, oh, they have more wisdom because they're older, they've lived more life, so they know what they're talking about. But
girl,
because
stop.
I am young and a counselor, I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm just getting into life.
And do you know what? So I agree. That came up at uni one day, and someone had said that in our cohort, and our
Yeah,
lecturer turned around, and actually, I think he's part. I think was it Mark? It is Mark. Mark was a transactional analysis
yeah,
therapist. Unfortunately, he died.
yeah,
But he turned around and he was like, "So are we just going to disregard the young people, the children that have gone through really traumatic experiences and seen the other side of that? It's like, what would make you think that age is the thing that dictates life experience?" If that's the case, you are then you are gonna be limited
mm,
with clients that feel comfortable coming to you because what happened like people are traumatized sometimes from birth. Like the things that
yeah,
I've heard that have happened to people hurts me to my core and it's so gut wrenching. But also things that happen to us, and there's loads of things that can happen to us that makes us decide that we want to help people or heal people. But to think that life experience or trauma or wisdom solely comes from age, as if we are not cognizant and able to reflect,
yeah,
I just think but also that's why people are so I think can be dismissed so easily, even not just us, but like when younger people have really intense experiences, those who are necessarily older or think they know better because there is like an ageism, as you said, can be so dismissive of
yeah.
the impact that people can have on people. I just think it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, definitely. Because I think that with your question is a thing as well, the stigma around like, oh, you need to be older to be a therapist or a counselor. I'm
Period.
like, no, like I've spoken to people where they're like, oh, when I'm older, then I'll go into counseling. And I'm looking at them like, why not now? Like, why
Mm.
do you have to be old to be a counselor? Like, why not just go into it now? Like, of course, it's expensive. We won't talk about that. Uh, and like, whatever. Um, but why do you have to wait until you're old to be a counselor? Like, why is it a second career and not your first? Why is it within the counseling that if you're older, then you're seen as more of an expert within the role than when I go into it young,
And
right?
listen, I've sat with cohorts of older people.
Yeah.
And some of the things that they have said, which is based on either their timeline and their life experiences, which
Mhm.
can come with with some level of prejudice,
Yeah.
has been wild.
Yeah.
And when I say wild, I mean wild with a big W wild.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, okay, okay. And again, retrospectively, or actually, I hate the word retrospectively. I can look at it and think, okay, cool. Based on your life experience, that's how
Yeah.
you view a particular thing. Um, but I just, yeah, I just don't agree. I
Yeah.
thoroughly, thoroughly disagree that age equates to wisdom and
Knowledge.
knowledge and
Yeah.
professionalism and expertise. Like, and I've had clients who've come to me and been like, actually, the reason why I chose you is because we are of similar age, and going to a therapist who's a little bit older might feel like going to a parent, and
Yeah.
the dynamic feels a little bit
Different.
off, or do you get what I mean? Or it feels like
Yeah.
actually if they're the reason why they're going here is because of like parental issues, and it just feels like they won't understand their
Yeah.
full lived experience. And that's not to say that that is true, but like
But I think
sometimes and for a lot of people, our ages and seeing themselves in us based off of our age is the thing that also encourages them to go to therapy.
yeah. No, definitely. Yeah. So. We need to find out. We need more younger, like, counselors to get into it because
Come on, dude.
I know, right? Because, for example, I worked in a school and then now I'm going to start next week. I'm going to start in a college as a counselor. But I think,
Congrats.
thank you. But I think most of the children that said yes to counseling was because of me.
I
I wanted
I
to my
agree.
own horn, but because I'm younger, they thought like, "Oh, I can talk to her because
Agreed.
she's closer to age to me." Like, if it's an older person, sure, they will have said yes. And like, there wasn't a previous counselor who was older, and she had clients there, of course. But I think some of the clients I had, I think they definitely said yes and definitely said, "Oh, I want more counseling," because it was. Because it was me,
Agreed.
and they wanted more counseling because they felt like, "Oh, I can connect with her, or she understands me better," and that does come with age. Although I was double their age, which
Yeah, but
they,
I agree. It's kind of like we sit because I used to work in a school,
yeah,
and literally, I know for a fact it's because I was a younger person,
yeah,
and it makes them feel like it's like a big sister
yeah.
type of thing, and therefore they relax a little bit, and it feels like there's less consequences to being honest.
Yeah, definitely less consequences. To, but also that's just the sense of like what we understand more. Like they talk their slang, and of course some of it didn't make sense, but the
Yeah.
majority of it I understood. Like they would talk about certain things.
Mm,
Like I would talk about like, oh, what music do you like? And I would know the artist and stuff. I would know what they're talking about, and I felt
literally.
like that built a connection because I understand what they're talking about.
Mhm.
And sometimes they would talk about stuff, and I'm like, "That was around when I was young.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I know what it is. You don't have to explain it to me." Like, for example, they were talking about Snapchat, and I'm like, "I had
yeah.
Snapchat when it first
We
came out."
were the era of Snap. Like
Yeah,
you don't know nothing. When you
no,
couldn't, you the replay,
yeah,
you only had 60 seconds.
yeah.
Like we were the era of
I
Snapchat, babe.
know.
Okay,
Like
that might
stuff
be
like
your main
that.
form of communication now, and also back in the day in Snapchat, right when you used to add everybody, like we had no form of
Every day.
internet.
Yeah. I know. And there was no map initially. So we were there before the maps and stuff.
Yep.
And I'm like,
Snapchat was the original confidentiality. Listen,
yep,
Snapchat wouldn't if you screenshot it, nothing. Like
nothing.
there was no like holding and
No.
swiping thing and
Yep.
being able to catch a glimpse of. Snapchat was bulletproof.
Yeah,
Bulletproof.
I know.
Oh, little, and they think they know.
They want to explain to me, and I'm like, dude, I know. Like I was there at the like inception of it. No, I wasn't, but
Yeah, but
basically
we were.
yeah.
But we were though. Like, and
Yeah.
that's what we were. Yeah, that's
So
literally.
yeah, stuff like that. Like age is being younger age is a benefit where some people don't see it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think that in some ways is can be seen as a stigma age or being younger of age. But I can see now there's more younger people going into counseling,
Yep.
which is amazing because we do need that. We need diversity. Like you don't just see old doctors.
Mm-hmm.
People start when they're 18. I wouldn't necessarily advise going into counseling at 18, but in your 20s for sure, go
Yeah.
for it. Um, but yeah, so yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. No, I get you. Two more questions.
yeah.
What's something that you struggled with at the beginning, maybe during training or coming out of training, being freshly qualified, that you feel like now you've mastered or you feel a lot more comfortable with it?
Boundaries or being
Yeah.
strict with clients.
Mhm.
I was, and I can sometimes still be, I think, with certain people, a people pleaser
Yeah.
to my core.
Yeah.
Like, if someone said, "Oh, I don't want to do that," but I wanted them to do it, I would just allow it. I just,
Yeah.
okay, whatever you say. If they ask me to do something, although I didn't want to do it, I would do it. Not necessarily in counseling. I'm not talking about me as a counselor initially.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's me as a person. But I've had moments in session as a counselor, as a baby therapist or counselor, where I would let the time lapse a bit. So, like, I would go
Mhm.
over 1 to 3 minutes because I was not scared, but I felt uncomfortable saying like, "Oh, we've come towards the end." Um, I yeah, stuff like that. I like, if someone messaged me and was like, "Oh, I need a cancel," but they've canceled one too many times for, like,
Mhm.
the placement, and I needed to tell them, "Okay, we can't do it anymore," I would almost, like, slightly allow it, stuff like that, where I wasn't strict with boundaries when
Mhm.
both of us knew the rules, but
Yeah,
they
yeah.
were kind of, like, not doing it, so I had to be strict, and I feel like now I am a bit stricter with things. Um, but if it's time. Unless I can see like, okay, we need it, then I'll allow it. Like it's not that sense of like, oh, I'm ignoring the time. I'm aware of the time and I know you need the 1, 2 minutes to compose or like feel like you can get back to yourself before we end. I'll do that. I'll be flexible with the boundaries where needed. Whereas
Mhm.
before I was almost not enforcing the boundaries at all. Now, if I need a form and I'm not getting the form back, then we can't start, unfortunately. Like I've had clients say like, "Oh, I want a session." I've booked in the session, but I've never got the contract back. Okay, I can't start with you then because I don't have the contract. I need the
Mhm.
contract. I need your information so I can start the contract. I'm not sending you the link if I don't have all that information. Like
Yeah.
I hate it because I want to start with you, but I like you need to tell me something. Like, are we doing the session? Are we not? The fact that you haven't sent stuff back to me means we're not doing it. So I can't start session with you then because you're basically saying you're not agreeing to my terms.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, so I'm leaving that. If we're coming close to the end of time with stuff, I'm reminding you, like, oh, we have a few minutes left. So you know that we're coming to towards the end. And then when it's time, I'll end it. Unless, of course, I need to be a bit more flexible. I'll do that. But yeah, so enforcing boundaries, I'm totally different now with it. I feel like because in my previous job, I was like, I worked in behavior and I had to be
Mhm.
with kids. I think that part of me is now coming into the counselor.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Where I'm just like, okay, I need to be strict. I need to be not cold hearted, but I need to just like, you need to allow me to just do stuff the way it needs to be done. And if you can't,
Mhm.
then I just have to enforce the rules set by me in my private practice or set by the school that I work at or
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah.
No, I agree. Do you know what? It's so we become therapists because we want to help people,
Yeah.
and it feels kind of, and it's not, but it can sometimes feel wrong to be like, okay, no, you need to stop now. Okay, no, you need to leave. Like, as you know, my brain is saying it's like it can feel like you're rejecting a client.
Yeah.
And obviously we don't want to do that. But like you said, like we have other clients, right? So
Yeah.
time boundaries are so important because also it takes off time into somebody else's session, or the beginning of their session, or we go into their session feeling flustered or whatever. And it's not fair.
Yeah.
But also it's not fair to us. And we do it with all the kindness and love that we can possibly conjure up. But yeah, we do have to be bounded. And I think also another thing that's just come to mind is we're such a safe place for people that they kind of relax wholeheartedly, and the concept of time and boundaries
Yeah.
and everything kind of leave the room. And that's great, right? Because that's what we want. We want you to come in and feel just completely and utterly relaxed, and we will manage everything else. You just need to turn up, we will manage everything else. But when we have to pull the real world back in, it can feel like it's so juxtaposed to the environment that we've
Yeah.
created, that it's just like we've switched, and we haven't. But again, it's we have to work with the balance of the room that and the environment that we create
Yeah.
versus also what's on the outside, so that you can come in and chill out.
Yeah. And it's also safety in a way, isn't it? Like
Mm,
some people come from a place of trauma where they never learned boundaries and stuff like
yeah.
that. And you need to learn that the real world has boundaries. And
Mm,
I'm in this safe space, I'm enforcing the boundaries with kindness in a way. Because if I didn't care about you, I'd just allow you to go over time and then just cut it off without giving you the warning or
mm,
let you leave while still quite open and feeling vulnerable. I would allow you to do certain things, although I told you I wouldn't allow it. So then I'm not staying true to me, and then you
mm,
feel like, oh, okay, that's how the world works. I can
yeah.
just break every rule and it should be fine.
Mhm,
So boundaries come from a place of safety and compassion in a way.
yeah.
Like that sense of I'm trying to keep you safe, but I'm also trying to learn you in a non-judgmental safe space. how the world actually works.
No, for sure. Like I said, sometimes it's a learning curve, and again, we do it with compassion and we do it with kindness, but we still we still have to do it. Don't be mad at us for it. Well, we would probably sit and talk to you forever.
Yeah, yeah,
But
and
unfortunately, you're gonna have to stop at 50 minutes to an hour, and we'll see you next week or in the
yeah,
next 2 weeks or whatever. But no, thank you so much for your time now. The last thing is
yes.
there anything that you'd like to plug?
Yeah, so I guess my services, so LDO counseling, I have
Mhm,
a website, so ldocounsellling.co.uk that has a lot of information about my way of working. It answers a few questions about like sessions and session
mhm.
prices and how that goes. My TikTok, I guess I want to plug as well because I'm more active there than I am on Instagram.
Yep.
Uh, so it's Lisa Owefa. So it's basically my name. So it's Lisa
Mhm,
AWEFA on TikTok, where I just post about counseling, about me, just life in and out of counseling. And more things are coming that I have to say out loud because otherwise I won't do it. So I want to do
yep.
a podcast. And I've been thinking about being like an agony aunt where people maybe give in like a piece of thing that they're struggling with and I can give advice or my view on it.
Mhm,
And then as well, I'm making some digital products like a journal that I'm going to be putting out there hopefully by the end of this this year or the start of the
mhm.
next year. So both of those are out, but if you want any sessions from me, then call at me.
Fantastic. No,
Yeah.
literally, do go check those things out. This will be across obviously all platforms, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, the whole shebang, and all her details will be available. But thank you so much, Lisa, for your time. It's been so good talking to
Yeah,
you.
this is amazing. Thanks for having me, Kimberly.
I appreciate it. All right, toodaloo.